Slapface is a dark psychological horror story centered on grief, guilt, isolation, and the dangerous coping mechanisms of a traumatized child. The film opens with the narration of a tragic car accident that killed the parents of two brothers, leaving them alone in the world. The brothers Tom and Lucas survived, but the trauma of that night continues to shape their lives. They now live in a remote cabin deep in the woods, far from town and far from any meaningful support system. The isolation of the forest mirrors the emotional isolation both boys experience after losing their parents. The brothers share a strange ritual they call Slapface, a game in which they take turns slapping each other across the face. What initially appears to be roughhousing gradually reveals itself as something darker. The game feels like punishment. Both boys carry a heavy sense of guilt, believing in some way that they are responsible for their parents' deaths. The slapping becomes a physical manifestation of their self-blame and unresolved anger. Tom, the older brother, has taken on the role of guardian. He works at a local construction company to support them, trying to be responsible despite his young age. Lucas, much younger and more sensitive, spends most of his time alone cleaning the house and visiting the local library. Lucas struggles deeply with loneliness. At the library and on the internet, he becomes fascinated by local rumors about an abandoned building nearby. According to town gossip, a witch lives there. People claim to have seen her wandering around the property. The building is not far from the brothers' cabin, making the story even more tempting to Lucas. The legend sparks his imagination. Around this time, a detective investigating disturbances around the building encounters Lucas nearby and warns Tom that no one should go near it. The warning only increases the mystery and allure. At school, Lucas is bullied by a group of girls who accuse him of stealing a dress. They mock him and give him a cruel choice: either return the dress or prove his courage by entering the abandoned building to confirm whether a witch truly lives there. Desperate for acceptance and already intrigued by the rumors, Lucas accepts the challenge. He enters the building alone. Inside, he encounters something terrifying and loses consciousness. When he awakens, one of the girls who had bullied him is present, but the experience leaves him shaken and confused. It is unclear what was real and what was imagined. Meanwhile, Tom attempts to move forward with his life. He meets a woman named Anna and begins forming a romantic relationship with her. Anna eventually visits their cabin and notices strange marks on Lucas' arms, scratches that Lucas cannot properly explain. The wounds suggest that something physical happened in the abandoned building. However, Lucas becomes increasingly secretive. He returns to the building again, this time noticing strange footprints that seem inhuman. Though frightened at first, his fear begins to transform into fascination. Lucas eventually encounters the witch in the woods. Instead of pure terror, he feels a strange connection to her. The witch appears monstrous, tall, shadowy, and animalistic, but Lucas does not run. In fact, he seems comforted by her presence. They sit together watching the sunset, a quiet and intimate moment that suggests Lucas is projecting something onto the creature. The witch becomes a substitute for the mother he lost, a protective figure in his broken world. The film carefully blurs the line between supernatural reality and psychological delusion, leaving the audience uncertain whether the witch truly exists or is a manifestation of Lucas' grief. Anna grows more concerned as Lucas' behavior worsens. She shows him a witchcraft locket, trying to understand his obsession, but this only deepens his fixation. One day, Lucas discovers his late parents' gun and takes it into the woods, intending to confront or hunt the witch. Instead, events take a darker turn. Dogs chase Lucas and the witch violently kills one of them in front of him. Rather than being horrified, Lucas interprets the act as protection. To him, the witch is defending him. Together, Lucas and the witch bury the dead dog. Later, Anna notices Lucas washing blood from his clothes, confirming that something violent has occurred. Anna urges Tom to pay closer attention to his brother. She believes Lucas may be in serious trouble, possibly involved in something dangerous. Tom, however, dismisses her concerns. He struggles to accept that Lucas might be mentally unstable or influenced by something sinister. Tom is overwhelmed with responsibility and perhaps afraid to confront the possibility that he has failed to protect his brother emotionally. The witch's presence escalates. She appears outside the house and even scratches Anna's car. When Anna tells Tom, he remains skeptical. His disbelief creates tension between them. Lucas, meanwhile, attempts to bring one of his friends to see the witch, promising she will not be harmed. The girl becomes frightened and refuses to approach, sensing something is terribly wrong. The witch observes them from a distance, reinforcing the sense of looming danger. Anna later notices posters for a missing puppy and realizes the blood Lucas was washing may have belonged to that dog. Her suspicions grow stronger. Eventually, when no one else is home, the witch enters the cabin and destroys family photographs, symbolically attacking the memory of Lucas' parents. This act suggests that the witch, whether real or imagined, represents Lucas' attempt to erase his painful past and replace it with a new maternal presence. Determined to uncover the truth, Anna searches Lucas' room for evidence. She finds signs confirming that Lucas has been acting strangely and may be involved in violent incidents. The tension builds as it becomes clear that Lucas' attachment to the witch is not harmless fantasy but a dangerous psychological break. The film ultimately suggests that the witch may not be a literal supernatural being but rather a physical embodiment of Lucas' trauma, rage, and longing for maternal comfort. As events spiral out of control, the line between imagination and reality collapses. Lucas' grief, isolation, and guilt have created a monster either in his mind or in the woods, and his need for protection and love has turned it into something he believes is nurturing. The tragedy of the story lies in how untreated trauma and emotional neglect can distort a child's perception of the world. Tom's failure to fully recognize his brother's suffering contributes to the devastating consequences. Inside the house, Lucas spots a missing dog poster and quickly throws it to the ground to prevent Tom from noticing. He seems determined to hide any clues that might expose the witch's involvement in violent acts. When Anna does not return, both Lucas and Tom grow worried and go out searching for her. Lucas tells Tom directly that he believes the witch has taken Anna, but Tom refuses to accept such an explanation. To him, the witch is only a fantasy born from Lucas's imagination. He believes something more ordinary must have happened. That night Tom drinks heavily. Overwhelmed by stress, responsibility, and fear, he finally confesses something important to Lucas. He tells his younger brother that their parents did not die because of them. It was a tragic car accident, nothing more. However, the town had blamed the boys, spreading rumors that their family life was troubled. Lucas internalizes this guilt deeply. The Slapface game they play has always symbolized that shared self-punishment, a way of physically expressing the blame they feel. Soon after, one of Lucas's friends visits him. They talk quietly when suddenly they hear Tom screaming from inside the house. They rush in and find Tom trying to catch a rat. He struggles with it, frustrated and clumsy. Lucas steps forward and brutally kills the rat with shocking aggression. His friend notices the intensity of his violence but appears strangely unbothered, brushing it off as nothing serious. This moment subtly reinforces the growing darkness inside Lucas. The next morning, Tom goes to work as usual, attempting to maintain some sense of normal life. While he is gone, the witch visits Lucas openly and spends time with him. She urges him to shatter their family photographs. Under her influence, Lucas breaks the framed pictures of his parents. After destroying them, he appears relieved, as if a burden has been lifted. The witch encourages him to forget his family entirely, to let go of the painful memories. In a disturbing scene, she even tries on his mother's clothes, attempting to step into the role of maternal figure. Lucas becomes upset and tells her to take off the dress, insisting it belonged to his mother. This moment reveals that despite his attachment to the witch, he still holds emotional loyalty to his real family. When Tom unexpectedly enters the house, Lucas hides the witch inside a cupboard. Tom immediately notices the broken family photographs. According to their long-standing rule, whoever makes a mistake must be punished equally. They resume their slap-face game. As Tom repeatedly slaps Lucas, something strange happens. The witch appears to feel the same pain Lucas does. Unable to tolerate it, she emerges and attacks Tom. However, Lucas steps in and shows affection toward his brother, demonstrating that he loves Tom. The witch seems to realize that Lucas does not want Tom harmed. Believing she cannot replace that bond, she withdraws and leaves. The next day, Lucas finds strange flowers associated with the witch. Following them deeper into the woods, he makes a horrifying discovery: Anna's dead body. He immediately concludes that the witch killed her. Grief and fear intensify inside him. Soon afterward, a group of girls approaches Lucas and mocks him again. As they search for him and his friend, the witch follows them silently. Suddenly, she throws a stone at Lucas's friend's head, killing her instantly. Lucas is devastated. Now the witch has taken multiple people close to him. His feelings shift from affection to hatred. The protector he once trusted has become a destroyer. Determined to stop her, Lucas tries to harm the witch when he encounters her again, but she does not retaliate. Confused and desperate, Lucas goes to the police. There he meets a detective who reveals disturbing details about Lucas's father. According to the detective, Lucas's father had been abusive toward his mother. There had been violence in the household long before the car accident. The detective suggests that Lucas himself had shown anger issues in the past, breaking things during emotional outbursts. Lucas insists that someone else, the witch, told him to do certain things. The detective, however, implies that Lucas may be responsible for the violent acts attributed to the witch. It becomes clearer that Lucas may have created the witch as a psychological projection of his trauma. The detective suggests that Lucas might be the perpetrator of the killings. This revelation casts doubt on every previous supernatural event. The witch could represent Lucas's repressed rage and grief, acting through him without his conscious awareness. The next morning, Lucas wakes to find the police station destroyed and officers dead. The devastation suggests another violent attack, seemingly by the witch. Amid the chaos, Lucas steals a revolver and flees. Returning home, he prepares to kill the witch once and for all. He sets traps and waits, emotionally shattered and determined. When the witch appears again, Lucas demands that she leave him alone. At that moment, Tom arrives and for the first time sees the witch himself. Lucas begs Tom to slap her and Tom does so. The witch reacts violently, appearing to injure Tom. Terrified, Lucas fires the revolver at the witch repeatedly. Yet the creature seems unharmed. Each bullet instead strikes Tom. The horrifying reality becomes unavoidable: Lucas is shooting his own brother. In a final desperate act, Lucas attacks the witch, physically staggering her until she falls. As the illusion fades, he sees that Tom has died. The witch's form disappears, leaving only the devastating truth. When police arrive, they find Tom dead and Lucas holding the weapon. Given the brothers' troubled history and reputation, the police assume Lucas murdered Tom deliberately. In the aftermath, Lucas is left traumatized and broken. He continues to blame the witch, insisting she was responsible. However, the evidence suggests that the witch may never have existed as a separate entity. Instead, she was likely a manifestation of Lucas's unresolved grief, guilt, and suppressed anger stemming from his parents' death and the abusive household he grew up in. The film ends on this ambiguous and tragic note. Lucas, unable to distinguish between reality and delusion, loses the last person who truly cared for him. The witch, whether supernatural being or psychological projection, symbolizes how untreated trauma can consume a person from within. In the end, the true horror is not a monster in the woods, but the darkness growing inside a lonely, grieving child. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.